The type of man I wanted. I prayed for the type of man I wanted, and I got pretty much that. Is he perfect? Absolutely not. But, you know, he has a lot of the qualities. No. He has a lot of the qualities that that I love, and we're having a really good time.
Friends, and it hung out, and I supported her because she was going through a tough time with the divorce and the remarriage of her previous husband. And we just took our time. Became friends, we hung out, we traveled, and little by little, you know, all the things that were naturally connective, the connective tissue with us happened in a beautiful sort of evolutionary.
At the beginning, he was not faithful in the marriage, and you realized, you said, I need to do something. I need to make preparations.
Yes.
Tell us about your thinking back then.
Well, just because I was pregnant, they just got really bad at that time. I knew that I had to make a move, and I didn't want to be dependent on him, and so I started planning how I would get out of it. And
You
I
called
knew
it
that
your escape plan,
it was
Tina.
my.
Tina Knowles might be spinning the block. And guess who's allegedly riding shotgun? Her ex-husband, Mathew Knowles. Yep, the same Mathew she divorced ages ago. But here's the jaw dropper. Word is, they were creeping around while married to other people. What in the Hollywood chaos is this? People have been whispering about these two for years, but most folks brushed it off as nonsense. Now,
Deal with that relationship. People say to me, how did you stay so long? And I'm like, well, I was married for 33 years, but 33 years were not bad. You know, maybe 15 of them were bad. But we would have these long stretches where we would do really great together.
Also, there are things that only the two of you know.
That's right.
There are things
that I can't share with you.
Yeah, there are things that only the two of
That's
you
right.
know. So I actually understand that.
the receipts are looking way too real. It's giving late-night link-ups even after the divorce papers were signed. And wait, it gets even messier. Sources are saying Tina's little reunion with Mathew might have actually triggered the downfall of her second marriage to Richard Lawson. That's right. Folks are saying she was out here dipping back into the past while still locked into the present. The streets are talking, and the tea is sizzling. These two been moving slick under the radar for a minute.
People say to me, how did you stay so long? And I'm like, well, I was married for 33 years, but 33 years were not bad. You know, maybe 15 of them were bad. But we would have these long stretches where we would do really great together.
Also, there are things that only the two of you know.
That's right.
There are things
that I can't share with you.
Yeah, there are things that only the two of you know. So I actually understand.
It's wild to think Tina and Mathew were still allegedly messing around, especially after all that drama their own marriage dragged through. Cheating scandals, public mess. And yet here they are again. Maybe back at it? The grown folks are out here acting like it's a soap opera, and we're just watching it all unfold. Tina Knowles dropped some serious gems in her new memoir. She claims she and Mathew decided to bury the drama for the sake of their daughters, Beyoncé and Solange. I mean, can you really stay mad when you're co-parenting literal royalty?
At the beginning, he was not faithful in the marriage, and you realized, you said, I need to do something. I need to make preparations.
Yes.
Tell us about your thinking back then.
Well, just because I was pregnant, they just got really bad at that time. I knew that I had to make a move, and I didn't want to be dependent on him. And so I started planning how I would get out of it. And
You
I
called
knew
it
that
your escape plan,
it was
Tina.
my.
Still, that book didn't hold back on the messy history. Tina spilled that Mathew was already stepping out on her during the first year of their so-called escape plan, which had folks raising eyebrows. But then, during her sit-down with Gayle King, she said the marriage wasn't all bad. Sure, there were tough times, but she admitted they had a few good moments too. Now, here's where things get juicy. Everybody knows Mathew was out here wildin'. Not just one, but two outside babies during the marriage. Straight up double betrayal. But what Tina conveniently skipped over? She was also getting cozy with someone else behind the scenes. Richard Lawson! Yep, the same Richard she later married and then divorced. and now might be allegedly messing around on again with her ex, Mathew.
Friends, and it hung out, and I supported her because she was going through a tough time with the divorce and the remarriage of her previous husband. And we just took our time, we became friends, we hung out, we traveled, and little by little, you know, all the things that were naturally connected, the connective tissue with us, happened in a beautiful sort of evolutionary.
It's like a full-circle soap opera, no commercial breaks. And remember when she said she found out Mathew was cheating while she was pregnant with Beyoncé? Guess what? That's the same time frame she first crossed paths with Richard. Word is, Tina met him back in '81 when she went to visit her friend Gwen, who just so happens to be Richard's sister. It's been layers on top of layers since day one. Wild doesn't even begin to cover it. So picture this. Tina was very pregnant with Beyoncé, still married to Mathew, and here comes Richard Lawson shooting his shot like it's nothing. The man saw that baby bump and still tried to slide in. Bold ain't even the word.
Vision the type of man I wanted. I prayed for the type of man I wanted, and I got pretty much that. Is he perfect? Absolutely not. But, you know, he has a lot of the qualities. No. He has a lot of the qualities that that I love, and we're having a really good.
Tina had to shut him down quick, not just because she was locked in with Mathew, but Richard was married too. Full-on wife and child situation at home, and still out here trying to spark something. Even though Tina wasn't going for it back then, Richard didn't exactly disappear. Instead, he lingered, playing the just a friend card. But let's be real, everybody could tell he still had a thing for her. To his credit, Tina's always said Richard kept it respectful and never crossed the line while she was still with Mathew. But folks been whispering for years. The side eyes, the quiet rumors, all of it. Some people even believe Tina never raised too much hell over Mathew's cheating, because she might have had her own low-key thing going with Richard. And then it gets even messier. Beyoncé's former vocal coach David Brewer dropped a bomb in his tell-all. He claimed Tina and Richard were already messing around way back then. According to him, the Knowles' marriage was hanging by a thread, and part of the chaos was Mathew allegedly getting into some sketchy substances. Brewer said things took a turn for the worse fast. Stronger stuff, weirder behavior. It was spiraling, and fast. Word on the street was that Mathew had long stopped quenching his thirst the clean way, and rumors say he turned to crack. Yep, according to David Brewer, it became a full-blown habit. And that chaos? Supposedly, it pushed Tina straight into the arms of Richard Lawson. In his tell-all, David didn't hold back. He wrote that one afternoon, while heading over to the main house to grab his keyboard, he stumbled into something he was not supposed to see. He says, "I walked in and saw Celestine kissing a man, and boom, I knew that face. It was Richard Lawson, the actor." Now that's a plot twist. Tina was supposed to be at her salon, not caught up playing house. She looked shocked and had no choice but to make an introduction. David said he played it cool and shook Richard's hand, telling him he was a fan. Richard kept it classy, said, "It's a pleasure," and dipped out the house. Then Tina pulled one of the oldest tricks in the book. She tried to clean it up by saying, "Richard is my cousin." Say what? But David wasn't buying it. He claimed she added, "He's on that stuff." Like that was the real reason he showed up. Total damage control. And if that wasn't enough, Richard himself once dropped a cryptic IG post that raised all the eyebrows. He wrote, "The thing that was so striking was that your beauty continued to be enhanced by your incredible heart, compassion, empathy, generosity, and philanthropy." Now tell me that don't sound like a love note in disguise? You were pregnant with Beyoncé at the time and married, so my incredible attraction for you then could only live in my fantasy. That's what Richard Lawson actually wrote. And if that ain't proof there was more to the story, then what is? Now, we don't know exactly how long Tina's alleged affair with Richard lasted, or if he was the only one she had eyes for. But what we do know Mathew was out here acting like cheating was part of his job description. It's no shock that he ended up having not one, but 2 kids outside his marriage. His first outside baby was a son named Nixon with a woman named Alexandra. And that was the final straw for Tina. It shattered her, and she filed for divorce soon after. But here's the twist. Word is, Beyoncé herself encouraged her mama to go through with it. Still, Tina tried to give Mathew another chance. And guess what? He blew it again. He went and got another woman pregnant. This time, it was Coy Branscombe, and together, they have a daughter named Coy. Judging by her Instagram, Coy seems to be doing all right. She's out here vibing, living the influencer life, and minding her own. But let's not pretend this didn't leave scars. Beyoncé was deeply hurt by the way her father treated Tina. That pain ran deep. And even though Coy and Nixon are her half-siblings, Bays never publicly acknowledged them. A while back, Coy's mom actually said she wished Beyoncé and Coy could have some kind of bond. But honestly, that reunion doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon. Coy's mom, Sequoia, once said, "They're half-sisters. Maybe one day that connection can happen." But let's be real. If Beyoncé and Solange still haven't even met their half-brother Nixon, it's unlikely the second outside child is going to change anything. That second baby was the breaking point. Tina was done. She couldn't handle another betrayal, another baby outside her marriage. So this time, she filed for divorce for good. No more second chances. Now here's where you'd think Richard Lawson would finally step in and claim his moment. The man had been lingering around for 32 years. But nope, Tina said she was too broken from her marriage to even think about jumping into anything new. She needed time to heal. But Richard? He wasn't going anywhere. He stayed patient, loyal, and kept showing up. 2 whole years later, 2 years of steady effort, Tina finally gave him a chance. And boom, in 2013, they officially started dating. Can you believe that? It took him over 3 decades from the time they first met to actually be with her. That kind of patience? Rare. But so was the timing. And this timing had people side-eyeing hard. Tina said yes to Richard just days after the news broke that Mathew was getting remarried. Talk about a power move. And according to someone close to the situation, Richard always had a thing for her. They said he never let that feeling go. And it looks like he played the long game. And won. Some folks think Tina's decision to finally date Richard wasn't all about love, but more about optics. Word is, Richard himself started wondering if she gave him a shot just so she wouldn't look like the one left behind while Mathew was out here moving on and building a whole new life with somebody else. Now, it's not like Tina didn't have any feelings for Richard, but from his point of view, the timing felt a little too perfect. Like, really? After 32 years, right when Mathew's remarrying? Tina tried to flip the script, though. She told the world it was all about healing. Said she was emotionally wrecked after the divorce, and Richard helped her piece her heart back together. She painted him as the one who showed up when she was broken, the one who helped her feel whole again. It was giving fairy tale rescue, but not everyone bought that version of the story. When you really break down the timing, it's hard not to think there was more going on behind the scenes. Maybe Richard wasn't exactly her savior. Maybe he was just the guy who happened to be standing there when the dust settled and she was ready to make a move. Still, Tina tied the knot with Richard in 2015. They made it official. But hold up. Reports started popping up that Mr. Lawson wasn't all smiles behind closed doors. People say Mathew Knowles was still living rent-free in Tina's head. And honestly, it kind of makes sense. He was her first love, and they were married for a whopping 33 years. That kind of bond doesn't just disappear overnight, or even in a few years. But here's the shocker. Rumors say Tina allegedly cheated on Richard with Mathew, while she was already married to Richard. Now that right there, straight up wild. Now nobody's surprised if Mathew stepped out on his current wife. Let's keep it real. The man's got a whole track record. Once a cheater, always a cheater. And he's never exactly been sorry about it either. But what really has folks spinning is this whole love triangle flipping back and forth. Tina allegedly cheated on Mathew with Richard, then later turned around and cheated on Richard with Mathew? That's not just messy. That's a full circle of confusion. It's like she never even left the family tree. And while it sounds like a joke, it kind of tells you everything about how tangled things really were. As for her marriage to Richard, word is, it was rocky from the jump. And guess what was at the center of the tension? Yep, Mathew. One of the first signs something was off? Tina refused to drop the Knowles last name, even after she and Richard tied the knot the proper way. That wasn't just a name choice. That was a statement. Richard went all out, even asked Beyoncé and Solange for permission before proposing to Tina. But despite all that, Tina still refused to drop the Knowles name for a long time. Eventually, though, they struck a compromise. She added his last name and became Tina Knowles Lawson. Classy move? Maybe. But fans were still giving her the side eye like, "Sis, why are you holding on to the past?" Still, people figured it was their marriage, their rules. Let them live, right? But oh no, the drama didn't stop there. Not long after, folks started noticing Tina acting a little too comfortable when it came to throwing shade at Richard. And it didn't go unnoticed. In 2018, the couple appeared on the show Black Love, and that's when Tina casually dropped a mini bombshell. With cameras rolling, she flat out said, "Richard isn't perfect." Now that may sound harmless, but the way she said it, real slick. People instantly picked up on the energy. And it had folks whispering all over again. Like, why say that on national TV? The vibe felt off, and viewers started digging for the real story behind the scenes. It came off less like playful honesty and more like a warning sign, like cracks were showing in that picture-perfect image. People couldn't help but wonder, was this marriage already starting to fall apart? Tina's "he's not perfect" comment might have sounded casual, because, yeah, nobody's perfect. But something about it just hit different. It had folks side-eyeing the whole happy couple act and wondering what was really going on behind closed doors. And Richard? Oh, he was not feeling it. It wasn't just what Tina said. It was how she said it. The tone, the timing, the delivery. All of it felt shady. And the look on his face? That said everything. You could tell he felt some type of way in that moment, and it was hard to hide. After that, the vibe between them shifted. That shiny, happy energy started to fade, and people noticed. Divorce rumors picked up steam, and suddenly, the perfect union didn't seem so perfect anymore. But instead of apologizing or dialing it back, Tina doubled down. She jumped on Instagram and threw more shade, without naming names. She posted, "I am careful not to confuse excellence with perfection. Excellence, I can reach. Perfection is God's business." Whew! Then she hit us with even more. "I came across this quote this morning. I could not agree more with Michael J. Fox. I believe any human being who thinks they are perfect, or that someone else could be perfect, is delusional. I believe that only God is perfect." That wasn't just a random quote drop. That was a straight-up message. And everyone knew exactly who it was aimed at. Now, maybe Tina didn't mean to come off disrespectful, but let's be real. That's exactly how it sounded. And it didn't take long for fans to start drawing comparisons between Richard and Mathew. And let's just say, Richard didn't come out looking too good. Even though Mathew did her dirty for 33 years, Tina never publicly dragged him. In fact, she stayed praising him, always saying he was a great dad, a hard worker, the whole nine. Meanwhile, Richard? She's out here shading him on TV and Instagram like it's nothing. For a lot of people, that was a big red flag. And let's not forget, when she married Richard, she didn't even want to drop the Knowles name. She clung to it like it was gold. But then, the second things fell apart with Richard, that name was gone with the wind. She stripped Lawson right off her social media before the ink on the divorce papers was even dry. That's how the world even found out about the divorce. She made the name switch, and fans noticed immediately. It was loud without saying a word. But here's the part that had everyone scratching their heads. Instead of just dropping the Lawson name and going solo, she went right back to calling herself Tina Knowles. Why go back to your ex-husband's name after all that drama? That move said a lot without saying anything at all, and people definitely noticed. Most women either keep their married name or go back to their maiden one, not drop one husband's name just to pick up the ex's again. But that's exactly what Tina did, and fans started putting 2 and 2 together real quick. And guess what? The math? Oh, it was mathing. 'Cause let's be honest, when you make a move like that, it's not just about a name, it's about feelings. And from the looks of it, Miss Tina's heart still beats for Mr. Mathew Knowles. After everything, it seems like he's the one she just can't let go of. But enough from me. I want to hear what you think. Do you believe Tina and Mathew are sneaking around again? Is this a forever love type of situation or just plain messy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you were into this video, make sure to like, subscribe, share with your people, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next one, 'cause it's about to be even wilder. See you on the next one.